starts up. I never know when it's actually going live. I think we're live right now, you guys. I wanted to talk tonight about the reality of nomadic living. And you can see me right now, like, don't I look clean, right? I like literally just got out of the shower like 30 minutes ago. Put on my cleanest shirt again. I think I'm going to wear this for every live stream because at some point it's going to get dirty. Like, I don't wear this outside. Like, if I wore it outside or around the dogs, then I mean it's going to be a brown shirt pretty soon. So I have no reason to wear it except to look good, you know, if I go to church or something like that. So this is church. I guess we're going to have church tonight, you guys. I want to give a shout out to Scotty P. I'm drinking a beer tonight on him. He sent us a super chat a while ago. And he's like, hey, get some beer. Because I rarely drink beer. Like, I buy a 6-pack maybe once or twice a year. At Burning Man, I did. But it's pretty rare. If it's hot out, though, it's really nice. And I've been working through cleaning out stuff. Whew, that's one thing we could talk about is purging your gear. It's kind of a common thing that nomads do. Fake nomad life. I watch some channels, and I guess I shouldn't really call anybody out because I really like their channels, the channels that I do watch. And it tends to be like the women that have these kinds of channels where they're always wearing like clothes like this outside, like they're going on hikes like this, or they'll be like rock climbing and they're like really nice, like super clean clothes, and they got lotion on and they're like all glistening and their hair is like beautiful. And, you know, they're having a good time. Like, they're doing outdoor stuff, which is the kind of stuff that I love doing. You guys have seen my videos. There's Echo back there. I want to make sure we get him in there. But I was kind of worried that... people might kind of get the wrong ideas. There's a lot of people, like, trying to do, like, nomadic living, you know, like, oh, it's a van life. I can live in my van. I can live in my vehicle and see all these great places. And you can, but there's, like, some things you got to be prepared for, and that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. I think on some of those channels, you know, they have, like, really great music, and, you know, they're all made up. They're, like, wearing makeup, and it's not, you know, it's not the reality. You guys have seen my channels. Usually I'm actually pretty filthy, pretty dirty. I live with 2 big dogs, and they get this place dusty and dirty. I mean, inside here, like, it's dusty, dirty, sandy. You get sand everywhere. Like, last night, I had, like, little rocks, little gravel gets into my bed. So I'm trying to sleep, and there's, like, rocks. I'm trying to, like, kind of brush it away from my body, like push it to the sides of my mattress, because Dodger spends a lot of time in bed, and Echo gets in there too. Echo gets under the covers with me, and you know, I love it. I love my dogs, but they bring dirt and stuff like that. You know, actually, I'm really grateful they don't bring any bugs in. There was one time I saw a flea, like a couple years ago. I saw one flea inside, and luckily I caught it. I mean, I don't know if that helped or not, but I guess once we get in these hot temperatures, I guess there's no flea issues. You know, the dogs have never had fleas. I've been really lucky. Actually, Dodger did when I adopted him. Like, he was like 4 years old when I adopted him, and he came with fleas, but I got rid of that like really, really quick. That was years ago. You know, Dodger's like, he's 17 years old now, and I gotta say, he's doing pretty good. The dogs love this lifestyle. I love this lifestyle. But when you're doing a YouTube video, and I guess it hasn't really come to me yet. Like, when I'm making a YouTube video, I'm not really thinking like, oh, I want to shoot it from this angle so it looks better. I mean, I guess sometimes I do. The only thing I can think of is like sometimes in my trailer, like, it gets dirty, like in my sink. Like, sometimes my sink will be kind of nasty, and so I'm like, oh, I don't really want to shoot inside because I don't want to show like how nasty it is. I mean, it can get kind of nasty. There's certain things like, you know, like if I haven't dusted inside or something, I'm like, oh, like, it might look like really dirty to people or something like that. It's really, actually, it's not that bad. But I can tell on some people's videos, they're like, they clean it. It's like spotless. It's like, what the crap? And there's a difference in personalities too. You know, some people are really, they're they're really focused on like looking really good and cleaning things. I guess that's just, you know, it's kind of not my bag. So I'm curious what kind of questions you guys have, but those are some of the thoughts that I have. Also, there's the idea of freedom versus comfort. You know, you're giving up a lot of comforts for freedom, and that's my thing. Is like, I want freedom. I want to be able to be wherever I want to be. Like where we are right now, we're out in the middle of the desert, and we can hike. We can hike whenever we want, and so that gives me tons of freedom. I can move whenever I want. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, Godiva wants a camper tour. I will do a camper tour at some point. I mean, there will be a video or two. I know people always want that, but I mean, it's like you're seeing right now. You're seeing half of my living space. You know, I got a bench here, and then right here's a table. There's my sink. There's my windows. There's my couch. I got a nice couch in here, which I actually never use. It's always for Echo basically now. Dodger used to use it, but he doesn't use it so much anymore. So how's the signal? You guys can see me and hear me okay? I just want to make sure before we really get into it. I know we got some questions tonight about loneliness as a nomad. Like, I get that question a lot. Good signal. Thanks, Random Spirit. I appreciate that. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Chris James. Random Spirit. Oh yeah, I got that package from you. I showed it in my videos, and what I've been doing is when people send us packages, then I write down the person's name. And so I wrote it down. I'm going to put that. I'm going to make sure that we mention Gus, because Gus sent some treats for the dogs, and they've been chowing down on those lately. So I'm really glad we got that package from you. Thanks, Debbie. Debbie's one of our Patreon members, which is kind of a cool thing. I've been posting. I mean, I don't post a ton on Patreon, but I post at least 2 or 3 times a week on Patreon. And lately it's been a lot of update videos, but sometimes I post footage. Like, I have a bunch of footage that I never uploaded on YouTube, and so I post it there on Patreon. So we can talk about loneliness. We can talk about safety is something that comes up a lot as far as nomads, and then also repairs. Repairs is a big thing. A lot of our videos right now are going to be about some repairs I'm doing. I had a leak in a gray tank, and then I had to drive the truck, and I don't want to give it away, but it was a big day. That was a couple days ago. Feels like it was yesterday, but man, it was a big day. So I made a whole video about that, and these are things that you have to do to keep your stuff running smoothly as a nomad. And if you're like a city person, you might not be thinking about all those kind of things. I ran into somebody a couple days ago, and I kind of got that vibe. And actually a few people, they're like, oh, this is my first time being a nomad. In fact, some people said like, oh, I'm trying nomad life because of your videos, or because of my videos and somebody else's videos. You know, like they watch other nomads, but they mention me. Some people, they say like, oh, I only watch you, and this is why I'm doing it. And it's like, oh man, that scares me. And that's why I always try to say, like, I do not recommend anybody being a nomad. There's a lot of things to think about, and I don't want to be responsible for like encouraging somebody to like make a big change in their life. The only kind of change that I really like to encourage, and you guys know this, is for people to go outside and go camping a little bit, do some hiking, take your dogs or your family out, and get outside and explore nature and see what suits you, what you like. Do you like rock climbing? Do you like hiking? Do you want to swim? Do you want to kayak? Those kinds of things. Because there's so much outdoor space, and we have a lot of it here. A lot of it's free, and a lot of it's kind of cheap, and you can go to state parks and things like that and explore. And that's what my channel is supposed to be about, as far as like inspiring people, is to get outside, to go out and see what's really out there. All right, we got 45 people in the live stream. I think that's really cool. We only got 14 likes, so if everybody could hit that thumbs up button, I think it helps the channel, helps this live stream. So let's talk about internet. First question I got here is from Chris James. He wants to know about internet and what do you do when you don't have it, including cell service. I'm lucky, and I guess everybody's cell plan is different, but I basically just use cell service for everything. I can stream movies like on Netflix and YouTube, and I upload all my videos through my cell phone, my cell plan. That's how I do everything. That's how I'm connected to the internet. So when you see me out in like these places that you see that are really remote, they're usually they're usually close enough, I guess, to a cell tower that I have a decent signal. Sometimes I will find that I have to kind of move camps to get a better signal. One thing to keep in mind is that I have a trailer, right? So I'm towing my trailer. So when I go into the woods or in the desert, I can't usually go as far as you could as if you just had a van or a pickup truck, that kind of thing. So I'm not getting super remote in the mountains a lot of the time. I mean, there's some places I go and it's like, how the crap am I getting a signal? But I know there's a good signal there, or I move around until I find a good signal. Starlink though is, it's the future, and but the cell service to me is still the future. It's like, holy cow, like I can be in the woods, like deep in the woods in some of my favorite places and get a good cell signal. It's just about moving around and monitoring your cell service and test it out in these different areas. And you'll see, like, one thing that I notice is, like, even in my trailer, like certain spots inside my trailer I get a good signal, and in certain places in my trailer I don't. Like in this campsite that I'm at right now, even if I'm outside on this side of the trailer, I don't get a very good signal. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. So I have to go on this side of the trailer, which I think the tower is like out there. And I guess that kind of helps because then I get a really good signal. So that was one of the things that was scary for me. And my backup was always like, well, I can get Starlink or I can change cell plans, that kind of thing. But I guess I kind of lucked out. I know you guys are all going to say like, oh, what cell service do you use? And I mean, I could tell you, but it's just a regular cell service. It's not like, it's not anything that you couldn't get. It's just a regular cell plan that I have. But I do pay for unlimited internet or whatever it is, unlimited gigabytes or whatever. And so Chris James also had a question about boredom. Do I ever get bored? I'll be honest. I've been doing this for, I mean, we'll say over 4 years. It's for close to 5 years, something like that. And it's really weird, but I've been here in this spot in Quartzsite for a couple months now, and the last like couple weeks, I guess I felt like I didn't have anything to do, and I was just like, I feel really bored right now. Like I didn't want to watch a movie, I didn't want to watch YouTube. It's just me and the dogs. I don't live with anybody else. I usually camp pretty far away from people. There are people around here, like I do bump into people. Subscribers. I bump into subscribers as well. I've only had one beer tonight, so. So it's kind of weird. Like, so in that time of, we'll say 4.5 years, I can't think of a time that I felt bored. I was always like, man, I'm not bored and I'm not lonely. And I haven't been lonely, but in the last couple of weeks, there's been a few nights where I was like, oh, I'm kind of bored. And so what I do is I watch a movie or something, or I just go to bed early. So it's only happened a few times. So I would say like, I don't get bored. I have dogs. They keep me busy. When they get bored, then I'm like, oh, I got to take them out. I got to give them some activity. So I think that like really helps. Godiva has 2 questions. She also left a nice comment. She says, I like your comment. It's real, not doctored. Oh, yeah. So I told her, I said, I'm assuming Godiva's a woman. I don't know. So I'll say she. She says, it's real, not doctored. Not doctored to be something it's not. And I told her, I said, yeah, wait till you see me tonight because I'm all clean and I got this like perfectly clean shirt on. This is not real. Like, this is not what I look like. I'm trying to show you like how fake, some of the YouTube channels can be. And when I say fake, like, I don't mean that in a bad way, because there's really great channels out there. And some of the ones that are kind of fakey are actually really cool channels. And there's a lot of inspiration you can get from them. And I freaking love those channels. So when I say fake, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like they're putting on their best image for the camera. And like, that's what it's kind of normal. It's kind of a normal thing. It's like, I'm going to be on camera. Like, I want to look good. I got over that really quick when I started doing a YouTube channel. I was like, no, I don't have time to like, that's what it is. Literally. It's like, if you see me all gruff, like all like unshaven and dirty, and like I literally stink a lot of the times, like, because I'm not I'm getting sweaty, you know, I'm sleeping with the dogs. But I was like, you know, I don't have time to like perform for the YouTube channel. Just me like talking to the camera when I'm making my YouTube videos is that's a lot for me. I mean, that's enough effort like that I want to put into like creating, actually like recording the video. You know, I love the editing part, adding the music, and then you know, the thumbnails is kind of a different story. That's kind of a tough part, but when I'm doing the recording, it's like I don't want to like go do my hair, put on like a new shirt. Like a lot of times you'll see me in the same shirt, and you know why that is because I'm literally wearing the same shirt like day after day after day. I mean, some of the things I guess I haven't talked about on the YouTube channel, but I will at some point. I wear a lot of the same clothes over and over. Let's put it that way. So GoDiva had a couple questions. So GoDiva asked, do you pay to stay camp there for long periods of time? Well, where I'm at right now, Quartzsite is kind of special. You can stay here longer if you do pay for the permit. And so, yeah, I have a permit here. And they have a 7-month stay that you can stay. You can stay for 7 months. I usually stay for just 2 or 3 months, something like that. Usually, at most of the places I stay are totally free, and usually it's a limit. It's usually a 2-week limit. Some places it'll be 3 weeks or 16 nights. It kind of varies, but generally it's about 2 weeks. So usually that's the max that I'll stay at a place, and then I move on to somewhere else. Even at like state parks, when I started out, I was staying at state parks, and they'll have limits. They'll say like, oh, you can only be here 2 or 3 weeks. So that, I mean, that's the nomadic life, right? It's like you're moving. You're constantly like on the go. You're going to different places. Now, some people like van lifers, I always get a kick out of how quickly they move on. They'll be in camp for like 1 or 2 nights and they're gone. So they're going to a new place like every night or every couple nights. And that's not how I do it. It's basically every 2 weeks is usually when I move. I'm glad you guys are all in here. We got George Pyle in here. Hey, you guys, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button for us. We got 71 people watching tonight. Okay, first beer down. Then we're going to water. Debbie Hersko says she dresses in dog hairs. Oh yeah, I don't even think about dog hair. Sometimes when I'm editing, I'm like, oh, I had this white dog hair right here on my shirt the whole time, or like in my beard the whole time. Because when I'm recording, it's like I don't even think about dog hairs. And in my life, like yeah, I vacuum pretty much every day. Like I have this vacuum that kind of works pretty good. It works okay anyway. It's a cheap vacuum. So I'm vacuuming up dog hairs all the time. And I got something this dog brush, if you've seen that in my video, I'm going to feature that in a couple of my videos coming up because I love this freaking dog brush. It really helps keep the dog hair down. So GoDiva's second question is, do you think it's time for some self-care? What? I see, I'm reading this question just like without pre-reading it. So we'll see what she says here. Do you think it's time for some self-care? Cut that mountain man hair off. You're a handsome guy. I know one becomes lax, living so desolate and alone, but keep grooming. Well, I'm groomed right now. I just kind of, if you go back and see my first videos, I had long hair. Like I grew it out as I was becoming a nomad. I was like, I'll just let it grow. And then it just kind of got frustrating for me to have long hair when it's hot and stuff like that. And I was always having to put it in a ponytail, so I started to learn to cut my own hair. So now I cut my own hair. That's one of the things you got to think about is like, I don't know how these, I mean, I'm just assuming like women, you know, they really want to have like their hair look a certain way. Do they go to places and get their hair cut? You never see that. Sometimes you'll see them cutting each other's hair, which that makes the most sense to me because it's like, why go into town like and pay like whatever it costs, probably like $50 to get your hair cut. I'm not going to pay that. I can get my hair for free. And basically, yeah, Well, I'm not growing that long nomad beard. A lot of nomads have that long beard, and maybe someday when I'm older, then I'll grow that long beard. I grow it out for like a week or two just because I'm like, what am I gonna? Why would I want to shave it every day? Because usually I don't see that many people in person, But I'm making YouTube videos, but that's my thing is I'm not gonna shave just for a YouTube video. I basically I live my life and I try to show the reality of it on camera. So when you see my YouTube videos, they they are really. I mean, I'm trying to think of things where I'm like I hide something, or I'm like, oh, I don't want people to see that. I can't think of any. I'm sure that does happen, but I can't think of any situations where I've done that. But you watch some other people's channels and you can tell they're doing that. Don, it's good to see you in Sultan, Washington. Sultan, I've spent some time in Sultan, not as a nomad, but I'm from the Northwest, so I know Sultan. AH Radventure. That sounds like a YouTube channel. You must have a YouTube channel. Radventures. Radventures. That's kind of a cool name. That's kind of a cool name if you have a YouTube channel. Jennifer Peters, hello. Yeah, George is asking about the wind. We've had some decent wind, but I've been in worse wind. I mean, I think we got up to like 30 or 40 miles an hour, but I've been in at least 60-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, I've been in winds like all day where I literally got motion sickness because you can't go outside because it's miserable. So you're inside to avoid the wind, but your trailer's rocking back and forth. And I don't stabilize my trailer. A lot of people put out these stabilizers, and I don't waste my time with that crap. It's like, what's the point? The funny thing is, whenever I go into like somebody's house, like a real house, I step inside and it's like whoa, it's like totally stationary. I'm so used to like the little bit of rocking motion. See, I can get it. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see me like wiggling. I'm totally used to just the rocking motion. It's like basically like living on a boat, and you just get used to it. But you can stabilize it and have it like basically rock solid. Hey, Bo, it's good to see you. Hey, I got new tires on my truck. Oh, shoot. I just gave that away. That's like a video coming up. So anyways, so we'll be able to go out. Maybe I can go out with you guys and we can look for some crystals. I'm still working on a crystal hunting video. Yeah, and so here's a common question. Like, oh, do you work remote? And yeah, I mean, the answer is yeah. I mean, you have to. I mean, you don't have to. Some people get a job in town and but then you have to like live in that same town. And like, that's not my thing. I want to travel. So you find ways to make money. And, I've always, or before I hit the road as a nomad, I was selling products on eBay and Amazon, mostly on Amazon, actually almost exclusively on Amazon. And so that has changed for me because it's difficult to maintain like inventory. How many hours do you usually drive per day when you're on the road? Well, okay, well, it's different for everybody. And so, my situation is going to be not a lot of people's situation, but I usually don't have like a destination that's really far away to go to. Usually for me, I'm thinking of, oh, I want to drive like maybe 80 miles, sometimes less. Sometimes I will drive